Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com and we'll take a look at them after round 1. So 2, maybe 3 weeks ago now, by the time this comes out for you all, I played with a Winota deck in Legacy. And as it turns out, it was pretty good. Combining Winota with the single initiative card that was playable in Legacy, Caves of Chaos Adventurer, was a potent strategy. And Fireflux Squad was the backup way to kind of cheat these things into play. Now we're going to see what happens if we can go and add 2 more initiative cards into the mix. White Plume Adventurer, which is an Orc Cleric, so that's good for the Winota attack triggers, and then Seasoned Dungeoneer, which is good for the Winota trigger that... Okay, rephrasing that. This will trigger Winota initially, this will trigger Winota, and when that trigger resolves, you can find Seasoned Dungeoneer with it. And as I learned in my last league that I played, Seasoned Dungeoneer is a really good way to force damage, and it scales up pretty quickly. So we're going to go pretty hard on the turbo aspect over the course of this league, hoping to accelerate these cards out via Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, as well as the entire 8 set of Soul Lands. So if you'll take a look at the main deck real quick, you'll notice that I am only opting for Chalice of the Void as a lock piece here. I have removed Thalia and Spirit of the Labyrinth, which were in the previous build, and I'm moving Trinisphere to the sideboard. My plan is kill the opponent. Full stop. I am looking to play out powerful goblin-based threats that can spiral into a Winota or a Fireflux Squad, or I am looking to take over the game with the initiative. So we are trying to see, can we go full aggro? Can we go 12 initiative Stompy? And we'll find out the answer to that. Generally speaking, in the sideboard games, I'm going to look to improve my combo matchup since I'm sacrificing a bit in game 1 to just operate under the plan of kill my opponent. So Trinisphere's Ley Lines and an additional Lotus Petal to just go faster and fix mana are what I'm going for in the sideboard here. Otherwise, we just have a handful of removal spells to get stuff out of the way and take back the initiative or kind of keep the damage flowing. Let's see how this plays out. This is one of those things where this is either brilliant or stupid, and there's probably no in-between here. Let's see how it plays out. If you're new here and you like what you see today, please consider subscribing for more sweet videos, and there's another initiative video from last week. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's take the initiative. Okay. So, this is a turn 1 Chalice of the Void into a turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer if I draw a white source. I think I'm just supposed to mulligan this hand. This hand is so very close to being insane, but I think it just goes back. This is a keep. I pitch a Chrome Mox here. And then I'm going to use my draw step to inform my next decision. As of right now, Seasoned Dungeoneer is probably going under Chrome Mox, but I might change my mind. Ooh. Let's see what opponent is playing. Discarding City. Are you doing what I'm doing? Are we best friends? Oh shit, we're best friends! Oh, we're not best friends. Oh, I don't think I give a fuck about your Tanglewire, though. I'm going to get so much value off of the initiative. I will not be playing this Chalice. Maybe I want to play Seasoned Dungeoneer. It's just going to scale up better. Marginally. I think it's worth using my Simian Spirit Guide to do that, although that leaves me without red mana if I top deck a red threat. I've changed my mind. I will White Plume this turn. Or wait, no, I only have to use 1 Spirit Guide. I will Seasoned Dungeoneer then. Alright, White Plume under, City, cast Seasoned Dungeoneer. This is going to get me a basic Mountain, which will allow me to play Winota or whatever that I draw. Now, this is 1-2. If I play Chalice on 0, I can actually pay for Tanglewire and still attack next turn. So in an unusual play, I'm super on board with this. I guess I should zoom in on this one for those of you that aren't used to this nonsense. So, my opponent maybe is not in trouble, per se. This is pretty good. 1, 2, 3. Tap all this stuff down. I now will go into the Forge, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature. I can't play Legion Warboss this turn. I can play it next turn. So let's get in there. Legion Warboss. Is that an above average draw? I've got another one in hand. Let's say no. Put that into my graveyard. Take 6. You're at 12. My opponent's just dead next turn to this, by the way, as I will trap them for 5 life and then attack them for 7 with my Explore counter. Well, I guess I don't always have an Explore counter, and I guess Ensnaring Bridge could happen. My opponent's probably very creature light. Okay, it is another Tangle Wire. So this is going to tap all my stuff, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This taps all of my stuff. Okay. Tappity tap tap. Trap. You're at 5. You're at 5 with multiple Ancient Tombs in play. Not really a safe place to be. My City of Traders is kind of awkward right now. I think I just kind of accept that. I think I can just wait my opponent out here. Because, like, Throne of the Dead 3 will potentially get me another initiative creature, and I can just start working toward trapping my opponent a second time. Little tip for if you ever play with Tangle Wire. Tangle Wire creates 2 different triggers. One of them is the fading trigger, the other is its normal triggered ability that starts with the word "at" here. You want to remove your fading counter first before you resolve the other ability, so that you actually have to tap fewer permanents. One of those little tricks that you get used to over time. Okay, so I am going to have to tap down all of my stuff here between these 2 triggers. So now I'll go ahead and draw a card. And I can get another thing into play. Ancient Tomb seems totally fine here. We'll go Ancient Tomb. Sacrifice that land. Use the Spirit Guide to get a Warboss into play. Every single point of damage matters here, since my opponent is currently at an odd life total. We can get rid of that. I guess I can keep it. Tap down 2 things next turn. Yeah, I guess I can keep this. Although I think my opponent's probably dead. I am willing to be proven wrong. So now they can just tap both of their Tangle Wires. And they get some mana this turn, but, you know, the raw amount of pressure I put on their life total was just too much. Yep. I don't really know that I'm interested in any cards here. I'll probably play the Lotus Petal. I haven't seen any creatures from my opponents. It wouldn't surprise me if they have something like Urza Saga Construct tokens. But I don't know that I want to preemptively board for those. I think I'm going to swap a Chalice of the Void for a Lotus Petal and just call that good. And if I see a bunch of relevant creatures in this game, I'll board accordingly for game 3. The turn 1 Rabblermaster into probably a turn 2 Rabblermaster. Probably. Rabblermaster lines up very favorably versus Tangle Wire. It lines up favorably versus Ensnaring Bridge. Less favorably versus a random removal spell. I think I end up with a hand that can turn 1 Rabblermaster a bunch of other times that's not quite this risky. This one's a nope from me. Okay, this is pretty bad. I play Arid Mesa on turn 1, into City of Traders Spirit Guide, Seasoned Dungeoneer on turn 2. This is fine. Chalice goes back. Plateau worse than Spirit Guide? Hard to say. I can hardcast a Spirit Guide. Throw back the Plateau. I think this is better than the first hand. It's real close, though. This is a little bit sketchy. What are you gonna do? That's fine. Okay. Am I getting anything here? No, I'm just playing Arid Mesa and passing. I guess Tangle Wire is a little awkward. But I can still tap this down. Karn's fine. It's good. Probably finds like an Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, it's getting Coating. That's fine. I don't really want more Spirit Guide. This is going to have to get Plateau. I drop City, use 1 Spirit Guide to play a Seasoned Dungeoneer. We'll take the initiative. This will grab a basic mountain, and I'll unfortunately pass the turn there. Karn can minus and get an ensnaring bridge so that I can't attack in with this immediately. But if they do that, it means that they are not destroying my plateau this turn, which is very nice for me. Okay, it is the coding. Oh, they're going after the City of Traders instead. I guess I can... Oh, hoo-hoo. Didn't matter which one they went after. Okay, I see. This is really bad for them if they can't stop my Seasoned Dungeoneer attack, because I'm going to explore most of the time. Or no, I guess 100% of the time I just get thick here. Just go to the Forge. Yeah. Get swole. Okay, cool. Take out Karn. Kuromox can go to the graveyard. Don't need that while I have Chalice in play. Goodbye, Karn. Do I want to play City of Traders into Simian Spirit Guide this turn? I do not think that I do. I'll just play Mountain and pass. Like, I have a relatively respectable clock already. Like, this is probably a 2-turn clock already. Oblivion Ring. That's annoying. It's not that big of a deal, though. Like, I still have the initiative ticking up. I go to trap this turn. Drain my opponent to 11. And I can play out a Simian Spirit Guide as a threat. It's not impressive. Don't get me wrong, it's really not. But it gives me something on board versus like a Karn. And I'm just going to work towards killing my opponent when Throne of the Dead 3 happens. There's a new Karn. I could destroy one of my lands. Okay, they're going to go after the mountain this time. That's fine. Now I get to draw a card. And Caves of Chaos Adventurer as well as Goblin Rabblermaster. I believe this is an every point of damage matters situation. I think I go Goblin Rabblermaster, make my token, and send this damage at my opponent rather than Karn. Puts my opponent to 6. My opponent can fetch up Karn, or sorry, can fetch up Ensnaring Bridge with Karn, but they're not Hellbent. So some of this stuff gets to attack. Yeah, that's a bridge. So they can play bridge going to 4. At the very least, my 2 goblin tokens probably get to attack. And if Goblin Rabblermaster gets to attack, it's just lethal. Okay, that's down to 1. I still get 2 damage in here. This means that if I can get back around to Forge, my opponent is just going to die. Cool. Yeah, sure, that's fine. So I reveal a bunch of cards here. Oh, Winota. That just must be correct, right? It just kills my opponent this turn, most of the time. Man, that's disgusting. Winota. They get a smiley face in chat. Miles. Go to combat. Make a goblin token. Flare attackers. Attack both at you. Winota triggers twice. Oh, I missed. Oh, if I miss again. Oh, I didn't miss again. So I can put in Fireflux Squad. That's a 4-power attacker. Attack you. That is 6 damage. Poetry in motion. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. Moxfield is a deck building website for Magic the Gathering with a ton of functionality. And today I want to show you the tags. So a lot of times when you look at a deck list for, say, a commander deck list, you have some very large categories, but you might have some personal ways that you go and view these categories, like combo pieces, fast mana, humans, interaction, and you can actually sort these deck lists in a lot of ways. So consider checking out Moxfield if this appeals to you. Okay, round 2. My hand is a keep. I am confident in that. I am then going to have to decide how I actually play it out, and a big portion of that is going to be whether or not my opponent has potential counterspells in their deck, because that influences how good Cavern is going to be. You're playing against Death's Shadow. Seasoned Dungeoneer is going to absolutely fuck in this matchup. Like, this thing is going to just be able to force its way through large blockers that I normally can't force my way through. This is a really tough hand for my opponent to pick apart, by the way. I think I'd be taking the Spirit Guide. By taking the Spirit Guide, you stop me from just going turn 1 Warboss and force me to Chrome Mox some other card to do so. Ooh. That card's a little bit awkward. I don't really want to put Cavern on either Orc or Cleric. Cast a Chrome Mox. I will put my Spirit Guide under it. Play Ancient Tomb. And attempt Warboss. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not willing to wait a turn to Cavern that. A lot of worlds where Cavern ends up on Cleric. Fireflux Squad isn't great on its own. We're getting a Force of Will. Pitching Brainstorm. Opponent gave that one a good think. Opponent's at 14. So we're getting... Ooh. We're getting close to the range where Death Shadow starts to become scary. I would be taking the White Plume here if I were them. Ooh. That's a draw. I think I take the turn off to stop my opponent from ever playing a Death Shadow. So let's put this on human. I can do this without losing life. If this resolves, something like a Murktide Regent or Gurmag Angler could still beat me, but otherwise, life's pretty tough for my opponent. And my opponent's unlikely to have more than maybe one main deck answer to this card. They might have like a Brazen Borrower, maybe two in some worlds, but it's pretty likely that I just now get to attack my opponent twice with Fireflux Squad. Oh, I can just play Seasoned Dungeoneer and kill my opponent next turn. Yeah, this feels cracked. So take the initiative. I mean, basic mountain here for me. Make my land drop, call it a turn. Next turn, I have 7 damage showing for sure. But, like, due to the Forge ability, it should just be lethal. So let's take 2 counters. This is a May, right? This is a May. Wow, this deck is fucking hot. Fireflux Squad. This is lethal, uncounterable. Okay, there is a Snuff Out, which still means that my opponent is dead this turn. You are at 4. This is 4 damage. I don't think you should have showed me that you're playing Snuff Out. Like, I already know, I already suspect this, but I don't think you should show that card if you're just deterministically dead on board. Okay, my deck seems pretty reasonable here. I can consider maybe Lotus Petal or Dead Gone. Dead Gone can bounce a Murktide Regent or maybe get some other small creature out of the way. Although, generally speaking, the plan of murder my opponent with large creatures that are difficult to block is pretty good. Yeah, do I just not sideboard? Yeah, I just don't sideboard. Alright, no sideboard. Deck is perfect. I will probably keep this hand. It's a little weird, but I can probably just play Goblin into Goblin uncounterably and win the game most of the time. It's not great versus Thoughtseizes, which unfortunately my opponent does have here. I would probably be taking the Rabblermaster if I was in their shoes, although Chrome Mox is also defensible. Okay, they agree with me. Ooh, that's probably worth attempting on turn 1. Let's play my Chrome Mox around Daze as well. So Plateau, Chrome Mox, imprint the Spirit Guide, and attempt Chalice on 1. It can be dazed, it can be forced. It is dazed. That's fine. It's not worth putting Chrome Mox under... Sorry, it's not worth putting Legion Warboss under Chrome Mox to play around that exact card there, because I need a follow-up threat. Opponent goes to 13 from a shock, and I've got an uncounterable Legion Warboss coming up. Oh, wow. Never mind, I've got a Chalice. I will play that this turn instead. We'll wait on the Warboss. Now, this could eat a Spell Pierce or something. Force of Will, pitching Hydroblast. Yeah, very happy with taking that turn off. Now, a Death Shadow could come in this turn, and it would be annoying for me. But opponent has not cantripped at all yet. Like, they haven't set that up. Wasteland doesn't do much here. Got a 1/1 Death Shadow. That card will grow. Oh, opponent is not willing to wasteland me. I mean, I'm going to play my card, and we'll see who dies first. Is it better for me to name Soldier here rather than Goblin? Photo? You are an Orc Cleric. You are a Human Warrior. You are a Human Warrior. So no, I probably just named Goblin. Photo, please. I recently switched around some settings, so like you'll notice my taskbar isn't down here anymore, so I'm still kind of adjusting to playing on the new setup. My opponent's pausing here. They might have Snuff Out. I'm not going to read into it too much, though, because they've just been playing a little bit slower than I have. Alright, I've made my Goblin. I'll ship in with it. My opponent will take 1, but I, in turn, will take 1 more damage next turn from the Death Shadow. Oh, okay. You're gonna, like, cycle a Street Wraith or something? Sure, that's fine. But you didn't have to mark damage on your Death Shadow to accomplish that. You could have just snuffed out my creature in first main and accomplished the same thing. Or take 5 damage, probably 7 damage. I'm only taking 5. I have lost my Cavern. There's a Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I mean, I am in jam cards mode. Just have to be. Your last card is Daze. Your last card is Daze. Oh, your last card is Hydroblast. That's rough. That Caves of Chaos Adventurer was gonna rumble. This is pretty bad, because my opponent can find another, like, Hydroblast card to back up this Death Shadow. Or, you know, a Snuff Out, something of that general ilk. Alright, opponent's going to 5 to deal me 8, so I am deterministically dead next turn to this thing. See what happens. Okay. I am no longer deterministically dead. I can hit my opponent for 1 this turn, assuming this resolves. My opponent was waiting to pay costs there on something. So they'll take 1, going to 4. And I have outs to kill them next turn. Like, Fireflux Squad, for example, is just lethal next turn. And if I miss on a kill, I can just block with this. Ooh. That makes life hard. Chrome Mox means that I'm dead. I block one of these and then die to the other one. So I get another attempt. Now, do I want the Dead Gons when I am on the play? I really think my plan is just kill my opponent, though. Like, the dead side isn't really good, it's just the gone side. I think I just try to kill my opponent. I also sort of want higher threat density, since I know my opponent is playing efficient one-for-one answers for my stuff, like Hydroblast. Okay, I will be keeping this hand. I'm not super thrilled with how much damage I'm going to do to myself, and it's not one of my fastest possible hands, but it seems reasonable. Okay, my opponent mulliganed once. Let's see where this game goes. A little softer than I would like to be to Thoughtseize, but the same was true last game, right? Oh, they've got Delvers in there. That's cute. Delver's actually very scary since I'm on a double Ancient Tomb hand. A little less scary now. I think I'm willing to take damage from Ancient Tomb twice, and then I can not ever take damage from that again. Like, once I have the second mountain in play, I'm pretty safe. Alright, I'm eating a Force of Will here. See if Delver blind flips. It would be quite bad for me if it does. And it did. This is about the worst timeline. So this is blind Delver flip, Force of Will my first threat, and then Wasteland this Ancient Tomb so that I can't play one of my aggressive threats this turn. This is very bad for me. I am now in sort of imminent danger. And my Caves of Chaos Adventurer is going to be a little bit worse than normal, because, like, my opponent can take the initiative right after I play this card. I think I've lost this one. Okay, my opponent has brainstormed. They are doing Misty. I'm down to 12. My Ancient Tombs are starting to look a little bit suspect. I don't think I can take more damage here. I think I have to play City of Traders this turn. I do think I have to attempt the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Like, resolving multiple of these sorts of cards in a row is a good way for me to actually win the game. I don't think just attacking for Fireflux with 4 this turn is moving me in the direction that I want. But I'm very dead to counterspells here. Yep. Disappointing. So, in addition to, like, the power that's on board. I also just have issues in that I don't have white mana currently. And I also don't have non-human things to attack for Winota. So I have a lot of really bad draws right now. The 8 white cards plus Winotas are very bad. Any land is very bad. Yep. Another brainstorm. Okay, my opponent resolved a brainstorm. I watched some TikToks. I take 3. Yeah, there's an example of just one of the bad draws that I have here. So, like, I've got to crash in. I can't really afford to play around days here. Yep. But I just cannot play around it here, because if I do so, I have to take Ancient Tomb damage in the future, which is just absolutely unacceptable. Because, like, after this a turn, like, I'm 2 Delver attacks away from death. And I think if my opponent has one more counterspell, I can't win. There's no worlds in which I win. I think there's no worlds in which I win currently as well, because I can't play either of these cards. Yeah. Okay, petty theft it back to my hand. Okay, I have no outs from here. I will concede. GG's. Okay, I'm absolutely keeping this hand. I think I'm just interested in playing the Goblin Rabblermaster on turn 1, letting that spiral up, and then trying to play a Winota uncounterably on turn 3. That sounds pretty hot to me. Crash in for 1. This is gonna be good. Alright, sure. Are we Elvesin? Or Elvesin? I probably out Goldfish my opponent here. I can play Plateau and play that this turn. So let's make my creature. I'll attack in. The Goblin Rabblermaster trigger makes this into a very respectable amount of damage. And just as a note here, White Plume Adventurer is an Orc Cleric. So that will be something that does trigger Winota. So assuming I don't die to just the craziest glimpse of nature chain this world has ever seen, I expect that I will Goldfish my opponent next turn. I also expect that it's screenshot worthy. Untap you, Rabblermaster. Alright, do your worst. Okay, my opponent is going for a Glimpse turn. This is the world in which they could possibly win. Nettle Sentinel basically needs to be the card played here. Quarian Ranger's not bad. So my opponent can make 1 mana, bounce the forest, untap a Birchlore Rangers, cast a second card, and play 1 more spell. Okay, there's Wirewood. Okay, my turn. I will choose Forge. Let's just kind of spread out the love here. Seasoned Dungeoneer. That's cool and all, but Winota is absolutely stellar here. We'll make it uncounterable, just cuz. Oh, baby. Riggers. Yes. Yes. Triggered. Alright. Winota number 1. Find Seasoned Dungeoneer. This is going to allow me to drain my opponent for 5 with the trap ability. Bazinga. Let's keep going. Oh, let's find a Caves of Chaos. No, I was not done. I was not done. I was having so much fun. This deck is gas. Alright, I would like Fury as well as these 3 removal spells. I don't think I want the Lotus Petal here. I think I'm actually going to board out Chalice of the Void. I don't think the card is necessarily bad, but I've really not been impressed by this card since the printing of Allosaurus Shepherd in these sorts of matchups. And this is just going to allow me to have my in-out numbers be a little bit cleaner. But I'm still going to need 2 cuts to get these in, and like my cards are just gasoline. Like, it's legitimately difficult for me to tell what to cut. Is it Fireflux Squad? Although that's a human for Winota. I could trim Winota. Do like 1 of each of these. That's probably fine. Maybe I'm supposed to cut more white cards though, since I'm bringing in Fury. Awkward Hand. Plays a very fast Winota, but doesn't actually have a creature to go with it. Has a lot of mana. My top decks are incredibly good with this hand. There's worlds where I actually just play Spirit Guide and then start attacking with Winota. Alright, let's keep this and see where it goes. Like, the hand has problems, but they're not really all that bad of problems to have. Okay, it is Reclaimer Elves. Do I kill the 1/2? If I choose not to, I can just Chrome Mox, imprint Fireflux Squad, cast Spirit Guide, and then do Winota attack stuff next turn. Alright, sorry, this person's car is extremely loud. Tried to kind of wait a second to wait for them to start revving their engine, stop revving their engine or whatever. So I am going to go ahead and imprint Fireflux Squad and cast a Simian Spirit Guide in one of the oddest starts I've had for this deck. I do also think I cast the Lotus Petal. This just makes it so it can't get Thought Seized, and then I have no access to white mana ever. Although Thought Seize is already good against me. It takes Winota. Alright, opponent has passed the turn. I will play a Winota, and I am not going to make my land drop yet, in case I hit my land drop off the initiative here, which is somewhat realistic. Okay, I hit Fireflux Squad. This is still pretty good as far as a turn goes. Like, my opponent's at 14 and is facing down 4, 8, 9, 10 or more damage next turn. My opponent does get a Gaia's Cradle here, though. Ooh, it is a Dryad Arbor instead, so they presumably have a Cradle in hand then. Ooh, they're glimpsing. Oh, double glimpse. Okay. Heritage Druid's very scary. So this means that my opponent can play another elf, tap for 3, and then continue this chain. I'm very likely dead this turn. Not 100%, my opponent only has 2 creatures that can attack. But I feel like they probably beat me here. Nettle Sentinel is very good. That's a Wirewood. So despite the fact that that's not an elf, my opponent can now bounce one of their elves, untap an elf, tap for 3 more, and continue their chain. This is a shame, because I probably Goldfish them next turn. There's a lot of times where I trigger the initiative twice next turn. So between that damage and the damage from Trap, they're probably dead. I don't necessarily regret not playing one of my copies of Dead Gone, though. Oh, Crop Rotation gives another Cradle. My opponent is not traditional Reclaimer Elves like I thought they were. Like, I was starting to suspect that once I saw the Nettle Sentinel. Alright, at this point they can probably vomit cards very easily until they kill me. It's just a matter of finding a natural order or whatever. They might even be able to... No, they can't kill me with Allosaurus Shepherd. They just physically can't do enough damage because they only have 2 creatures that can attack and only 1 elf. I think at this point I'm going to cut to something interesting happening. Okay, here is a natural order that has found a Crater Hoof, which, assuming my opponent can untap one of their other creatures, will be very much more than lethal, because that's 2, creatures that combine for 30 power. So I will concede here. GG's. I think I'm going to go ahead and just whack the submit button again. This does not have enough mana. This is an auto mulligan. Just going to play White Plume Adventurer or Goblin Rabblermaster on turn 1. So I play Plateau. I play Chrome Mox. I imprint some card. Let's say I imprint Caves of Chaos Adventurer. I use Spirit Guide, and I play one of these other cards. Probably has to be White Plume, and I keep Fury in hand to potentially hardcast. Actually, I probably want to throw this back, because this is a human for Winota. Should I shuffle? And I will. Okay. Opponent is going to 5. There's also worlds where I imprint the Fury, so that I don't have to attempt to pitch something to it. And keep Goblin Rabblermaster as my turn 2 play. That's incredibly aggressive. Doesn't require me to go down further on cards. That actually might be better. I am actually going to take that line. Alright. Junk Fury, play land, play White Plume. Pitching the Spirit Guide to do so. Grab a land out of my deck. I'll be attacking for 6 damage next turn. +2/+2 for Forge. +1 from the Goblin Rabblermaster token, and then the following turn is probably lethal or close to it because of trap. Play your elf. It is a Dryad Arbor, instead. Totally reasonable, like very good with Cradle. Forge. Make my monster grow. Cavern is reasonable. I don't really need it here. Play some Rabbles. Crash in for 6. This is so much pressure. I will untap my 5/5. Winota would be a cool top deck. Nettle Sentinel is fine. It's something I can trade with Goblin Rabblermaster, but I don't actually super care about that. I do care about that Cradle. I was tapping the Cradle and the Dryad Arbor, which is a reasonable blocker. Or just another 2/2 body. That's fine. That's a Birch Lore. Trap. Hit you for 5. Another Goblin Rabblermaster. Sure. Same Goblin. Make more tokens. Go to combat. Triggers. Attack all. Let my opponent figure it out. So this is going to put them to 1 life and kill their Nettle Sentinel. Oop, nope. Okay, this is going to kill their Birch Lore instead. Okay, that's reasonable. So I'll now untap my 5/5, and I have very much lethal next turn. It's possible my opponent can kill me from this low of resources, but it's pretty unlikely. Alright, we have gotten the GGs from my opponent. I like my line better than the line of Keeping Fury, although I think we would have won either way, because we would have drawn that other Rabblermaster, Furied away 2 creatures, and gotten there. Okay, we're playing against a Yorion deck of some kind. I have 3 mana on turn 1, 4 mana on turn 2. The big question here is whether or not we're playing against Death and Taxes or a blue deck. If we're playing against a blue deck, I just get to play land pass into multiple uncounterable humans. I think I take the risk and keep the hand. Ooh, opponent's going to 5. Okay, I am on the play. This will just be Ancient Tomb pass. Can't really play out the Cavernous Souls on turn 1 if it gets wastelanded. Like, it is the end for me. Just game over, man. Yeah, this hand is gonna be good. Winota here is easily my worst card. I'm just going to be playing with humans for the first few turns. Like, Winota might be fine later. No shuffle with the Ponder. Hey, there's something. This is nice. It's not really going to be castable for a while. Cavern goes on human. I believe Caves of Chaos Adventurer is the one that I play first. This one just has Trample and has some built-in bonus card advantage because of its triggered ability. So whenever this thing attacks, you exile the top card of your library. If you completed a dungeon, you may play that card this turn without playing its mana cost. Otherwise, you may play that card this turn. Fantastic. This is going to grab me a basic plains. Like so. Already made my land drop. We'll call it a turn. Next turn, I'm attacking for 7. Maybe more than that, because I'm going to play Seasoned Dungeoneer as well. Cavernous Souls is gross. Alright, cool. We'll go to the Forge. Get Swole. Nice. Fireflux Squad is nice backup. All these things are just fucking uncounterable. Which is disgusting. Alright. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Uncounterable. I will take the initiative. Immediately gives me Trap. Putting my opponent to 14. Meaning that Caves of Chaos Adventurer, if it connects, kills them next turn. Oh, nice. I get to draw a land. I've exiled a Goblin Rabblermaster. I don't care about that card. I wanted this Explore trigger more than anything else here. Turn. What would you like to do? Yeah. My opponent is playing a blue Yorion deck. I can consider a couple of removal spells to get stuff out of the way, but the stuff that my opponent has, a lot of them I'm not going to care about. I don't know. Endurance kind of matters and is playable relatively early on. I might just not play Chalice. Just straight up, here is my pile of red and white creatures with power and toughness. I am going to throw them at you until you fall over and die. My opponent's probably playing like Prismatic Ending, Minsk and Boo, Uro, a bunch of stuff that just doesn't care about Chalice. So let's just play like Fury and one more Lotus Petal, just kind of fix our mana a little bit. Okay. I think my hand's probably a keep. I don't know that I just start off playing City of Traders on turn 1 into a threat immediately. I might kind of slow roll things a turn. That way I can just kind of keep the city around and use it to cast all of these 4-drops. My opponent has mulliganed very aggressively 2 games in a row. Like, are you just a Yorion combo deck instead of a Yorion control deck? Or have you just gotten giant stinky piles of garbage a few too many times in a row? I think this is just plateau pass, and then I'll play Goblin Rabblermaster next turn. And start doing cooler things after that. I don't think I need to optimize for speed here. I think I end up destroying my opponent in a lot of worlds where I don't get wastelanded into oblivion. Cavern's very good. I still think I just repeat my play as last turn, though. You have multiple wastelands, you have multiple wastelands. You don't. You could loam. You're not loaming. Chromebox is interesting. Play one of those. Imprinting a Fireflux Squad. This is going to go on human. I'm going to play a counterable Goblin Rabblermaster this turn and just kind of stick with the plan. Okay, things are working. Crash in with my Goblin token. Opponent's at 19, and things will hopefully spiral out of control pretty quickly. Yeah, you do not really have time to do this expressive iteration thing. Like, Goblin Rabblermaster alone on board is incredibly strong, but I'm about to pair it with uncounterable either Fireflux Squad or Caves of Chaos Adventurer on my turn. And both of those things are insane. Okay, Plains is very good. Plains can kill a Goblin Rabblermaster. You are not supposed to do that now. And I will show you why on my turn. I believe this means that I just Fireflux Squad and turn the Goblin into a different, more powerful creature. I think that's better than taking the initiative, because like this line may also take the initiative and do more beyond that. Alright, City. Fireflux Squad. Yeah, and you could have answered the Fireflux Squad instead of the Goblin token here. Which feels really important. Yes. Yep, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. I get in for more damage this turn, and I start the initiative. I don't think it matters much here. Grab the Plains since I have red under here already. Alright, opponent takes 7, going to 12. I'll pass the turn. This is a disgusting amount of damage. That's basically unblockable. Because of this. Alright, let's keep in mind that endurance is a thing that could happen here. So let's forge this creature so neither one of my creatures die to endurance. That sounds good. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically could make 8 mana. I don't really need to trap right now. I think I'll just crash in with both of these creatures and call that good. I'll attack in with both of these. Or you? You're a soldier. I guess I choose myself here. I'm not interested in Fireflux squatting this. This has protection from creatures. This is just getting in for damage. Okay, there is an endurance. We already played around this by making sure neither one of my creatures can die to endurance. Yeah, you can chump block and soak up some of the damage. That's okay. You do barbarians. You don't do barbarians. I want to play around like Supreme Verdict. I probably don't play out both of my creatures. I think it's okay to play out one. Play out a Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Uncounterably, of course. We'll trap our opponent. That brings them to 4. I don't really need City of Traders anymore. I think I'm comfortable just making a land drop here. Calling it a turn. Yeah. This feels good, folks. This feels real good. Alright, final round. What is my hand doing? A lot of ways to play this. My most aggressive one is From Mox Fireflux Squad, play Legion Warboss into turn 2 Winota. That kind of fucks. Yeah, I think I'm on board with that. Alright. Red, get him dead. Imprint, Fireflux Squad. City. Warboss. If we're playing against a non-blue deck, this probably wins me the game. Like if my opponent can't counter and I just get 3 Winota triggers next turn, like I don't know what you're supposed to do against that if you don't counter this. Although I guess I could get Wastelanded, but Wastelanding when a Legion Warboss is on board is a tough ask. Oh, are you doing me? Are you? Oh, you're doing that. Okay. Well, I get another screenshot for Twitter. Float 2 mana. Plateau. Cast Winota. Oh god, this is so sexy. This is what everyone came here for, right? Oh man. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. Alright. Mentor onto one of these. 3 Winota triggers. Get Seasoned Dungeoneer. Take the initiative. I'll pick up a basic land so that I can cast other cards in the future. Alright, we miss on that one. Oh man, we missed twice. I don't know that it matters though. If I'm being honest. Like, my opponent is at 11 on turn 2. Facing down both the initiative and Winota. I would say Dece to Dece plus. Like, not even playing an Ensnaring Bridge or something is going to help them here. Yes. Okay, we're playing against Painter. I'll probably board in a few removal spells and call that good. I think Chalice of the Void is going to come out for 3 of these and 1 Fury. And then it's a question of, like, do I want, like, Lotus Petal or Fury? My opponent's going to get a little bit better at interacting with me in post-sideboard games. How many Furies do I want? I don't really want to cut any humans because of Winota, unless I cut a Winota. I kind of just want to play an initiative card on turn 1 and turn it sideways 3 times and kill my opponent. But, like, Rabblermaster into Winota is also very stupid. Let's get this Lotus Petal in the deck over something. Maybe over 1 Winota. And I think I'm okay just playing 1 Fury. No. This is 3 mana on turn 1, but I have 4 3-drops. No, sir. What about this one? This can turn 1 a Caves of Chaos Adventurer into turn 2 Goblin Rabblermaster. That's totally acceptable for a 6-card hand. By 1 Fireflux Squad. The no flux given situation. What do you have? Fable? Fable's very good. Fable is something that I considered for this deck. The Lotus Petal, not bad. I think I saved this because this can make white, whereas the others don't. Alright, Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Pull a mountain out of my deck. I don't think I need to cast the Lotus Petal here. Although I actually could because of Trinisphere type cards. Yeah, let's actually do that. It's a little awkward to, like, telegraph that I have this, but yeah, it's probably fine. So, I can't really Goblin Rabblermaster. Ooh, that's bad. I'll just take the initiative right back, though. By playing Goblin Rabblermaster. Probably by using my Lotus Petal. They can get a basic mountain. And they do. Fable's pretty good in the not-too-distant future. Engineer's strong here. Potentially have something like an Ensnaring Bridge they can get. It'll just stop my aggression. Or they could get half a combo. Half a combo it is. Well, that's really good. Which one of these cards do I want in play? And am I going to Fury immediately? Or do I wait for the backside of Fable? I think I have to kill Goblin Engineer now. I think I want to do so without losing City of Traders. I think that means pitching Fireflux Squad. Alright. 2 damage to both. This will leave me unable to play a white card. Hopefully that doesn't matter too much. Goblin Rabblermaster isn't going to line up the best versus this, but we're trying to keep my opponent from ever getting that Painter into play. Ooh, actually, I can forge this and put the counters here. And then I can actually effectively attack in through that. Okay, this is better than I thought. Now, my opponent could play, a Fury this turn or equivalent. Yeah, that's awkward. That made my Rabblermaster noticeably worse. Ooh. Now I can loop through the initiative dungeon multiple times and kill my opponent via trap, so like I'm not dead to an ensnaring bridge. Take 5. They also do have Ancient Tomb and an Arid Mesa in play. Seasoned Dungeoneer not at its best here. So I will just attack in for my 1 point of damage and call it a turn. Alright, good stuff. I would say my opponent is currently favored, but not actually by very much. I haven't seen LED in play in Painter in quite some time. Like, the Painter decks are transforming more and more into these mid-range decks that happen to have some combo cards in them, rather than the full-on dedicated combo deck that they used to be. Ooh. That's tough to beat. That gets Grindstone into the graveyard. My opponent can then use Reflection of Kiki-Jiki to copy a Goblin Engineer and get it with haste. Yeah. Saw that coming. A second Ensnaring Bridge for safety is totally reasonable. My opponent doesn't know what my list looks like. They very much don't know that I don't really have outs to Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, so they're gonna sit on that in safety. And I'm dead very soon to Painter Grindstone. Draw a card here for Archives. A Legion Warboss. I don't really know that that's worth playing. I think it's not, in particular, because it's a red card for if I draw a Fury, which seems important. Okay, it's my turn again. Oh. My opponent just punted. So I F6 through the tail end of my turn and then F6 through my opponent's turn, and they hit a button, meaning that they move to my turn. They moved to my turn while having cards in hand for Ensnaring Bridge, and then conceded because of that. So I don't know that we deserved the 4-1 there, but we just got it. Alright, overall thoughts on the deck list. I now have 2 leagues in a row where I have 4-1'd with Winota in Legacy. So that probably means there's something to the overall strategy here. And let's take a look at the deck list one last time. I think the big thing that I'm uncertain of right now is how many Lotus Petals do I want here, and how much of this stuff am I actually supposed to play versus like leaning more in on the initiative. So like Winota plus these things is a plan, and these 12 initiative cards are an individual plan. Fireflux Squad is kind of the overlap between them. So I guess my primary question is like, how many things is it a good idea to do? Because something that I was repeatedly finding in sideboarding is that I was having trouble finding cuts just because the core of this deck was so good. And that's definitely a first world problem, but I think there's something here. The questions that I would explore moving forward. How much fast mana do I want in the main deck? How many different plans do I want? And how many humans do I actually need? The humans that I can hit here in this deck are very good, and I'm like quite happy with them. But I did miss a few times. Like, I had 3 sets of Winota triggers and I missed on 2 of them. My human density might need to be slightly higher than what it's at right now, even if it's just by 1 or 2. But then again, like, if I'm also thinking about more Lotus Petals, where does that leave me? Generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with the cards that are here, but it might be that this is a deck that just wants like a 4-4-4-3 sideboard configuration, like 4 Trinospheres, 4 Ley Lines, 4 Furies, like a Lotus Petal and something else to kind of round things out, because it has trouble boarding out more than like Chalice of the Void. It's also possible I could use like some removal in some capacity in the main deck. I don't think Solitude is reasonable. Source of Plowshares isn't reasonable if I'm playing Chalice of the Void. Fury in the main deck would be okay, but Again, it's not like a human for Winota. I guess it's a non-human for Winota, so like everything kind of works in one direction or another. But generally speaking, this gets a thumbs up from me. The initiative is incredibly powerful, and expect to see a lot more of it in Legacy. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. It helps a lot. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I would love to hear how you're messing around with this mechanic in the comments or other thoughts you have about deck building. See ya!